Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to set up UHC, Ultra Hardcore, created by the Minecrafters in vanilla Minecraft. It's pretty simple. I'm going to include random team selection if you want to do that. How to how to set up your teams in the scoreboard system so that you can all be spawned in the same area. And how to set up your scoreboard, that scoreboard right there, and then how to start the UHC game itself. So let's without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'll see you guys as soon as I need to remove all this stuff from my game so that I can show you that it's actually being set up. So I'll see you in just a second. Alright, welcome back. Basically the first thing I want to show you is the random team selector. I have these 3 pins set up. You can have as many or as few as you want set up if you want to select random teams. And you don't actually have to make them random. These command blocks will work if you just set up your teams with team captains or whatever, and you just walk in and press this button. It'll work just as well. But I'll get to that in a second. So at the beginning of the game, you want everybody in this pen here. And the reason you want that is because that's where it's going to select people from and put them in the team pins. And like I said, you could have as many of those set up as you want. Right now I have 2. And I only have these 2 command blocks that are actually working. So the way the command blocks work for the random teams is whenever they get powered, they're going to teleport a random person, a random player, from X21, Y56, Z -1, which I really need to put in X, Y, Z order. Within a radius of 4 blocks, and they're going to teleport them to 20, 56, -12. So if you were to say that in English, it's basically going to select someone randomly out of the middle one and put them in the blue one. And then this one's going to be the same thing. It's going to select them from the center pin. That's the middle of the center pin with a radius of 4, and it's going to put them in the red one. So then, as long as it's selecting somebody out of this one, as long as this command block outputs a true, as long as was a person in there for it to take, it's going to output a true signal, which will turn off this torch, which will allow the items to keep moving through these hoppers, which I'll actually go through the hoppers now. So basically the way it works is right now there's an item stuck in this hopper, a button, and then when I power this block, the torch will turn off and depower this block, which allows the hopper to move through the system. So whenever the button is in the hopper here, it's going to output this comparator is going to output, which will power the command block, and it'll select somebody from the middle randomly to the blue side, and this command block will select someone randomly from the middle to the red side, and then this command block will select someone randomly from the middle and put them in whatever team, whatever other pins you have left to choose after you set that up. And like I said, as long as it's outputting true, it'll power this block, which will depower the torch and allow the item to keep moving through the hoppers. So basically you can actually make this bigger or smaller if you want. And that's pretty much about all there is to that. So let's go ahead and test it out real quick. Since there's only 1 player in the world right now, I'm actually always going to get selected to the blue side, as you can see. The only way I wouldn't is if I were to, you can't actually remove, this is the only one that actually has to have one. If you want to take away teams for whatever reason, you can just break a block and then that command block won't get powered. But this one you actually have to have in order for this system right here to work, unless you want to press the button every time you want the item in the hoppers to go around. But I'm going to remove it just so you can see that I can also get selected to the red team. Like I said, it's not going to be randomly just because I'm the only one here right now, but as you can see now I was selected to the red team. And then let me show you getting selected to the blue team one more time, and watch this torch right here. So as you can see, I'll press the button and the torch will turn off, and the torch will stay off long enough for the game to figure out, you know, there's nobody left in the center, and now the torch turned back on, so the item will actually stay in that hopper now. Okay, so now we got our teams. Everybody's been selected to a team. You can have as many or as few teams as you want, or no teams at all if you want to do a free-for-all PvP. Now what we want to do is we want to create the teams in the scoreboard system, and the reason you want to do that is because when you use the spread players command, like we're going to in a while, you want all the teams to be teleported to the same area. So the way you do that is you basically do one command block that says Scoreboard Teams add blue. It doesn't have to be blue, you can name the team whatever you want to name it. But basically you're telling the scoreboard system that you want to add a team, and we're going to name the team blue. And then with this next command block, it outputs redstone down here, which will power this next command block. And the way I have it set up right now is Scoreboard Teams join blue, and you want to choose all players within a 3-block radius. I should probably have it actually set to 5, but right now it'll work. For an example, a 3-block radius of 20, 56, -11, which is the center of this little pin right here. So as you can see, when we go in, you know, the whole blue team standing in this pin. We have it set up to a 5-block radius, which is actually 3 right now, but like I said, you just want to test it a few times just to make sure it works. And whatever, and when you set it up, whatever your radius needs to be. So when we press the button, you can see a blue team was added, and it added one player to the blue team. So if we had 3 or 4 people in here, we would have all been added to the blue team. So you can see that worked, and it works the same way with the red side. Scoreboard teams add red, and then scoreboard teams join red, all players within a 5-block radius of the center of this pin. So as you can see, when we hit the button, a red team was added, and I joined the red team. So now, obviously, when you have your team set up, it'll you press the button. Every team's gonna press their own button, and they'll all be added to the red team. Or you could actually have it set up to where when this torch comes back on, it automatically does the command blocks for all of the different pins that you have set up. So I just think it's easier to press a button and much less redstone intensive. Now everybody's on a team. What we want to do now is we want to create the scoreboard system, and I'm going to show you all the commands you need to do that, and then to update it, because if you don't update it, it'll actually show everybody with 0 health at first. So I'm just going to remove that repeater and show you what I mean. You can see I have 0 health right now, so let's just walk through this system real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it gets properly updated. So the first command we have here is scoreboard objectives add health. So you're using the scoreboard command, you're telling the command you want to modify the objectives. How do you want to modify them? You want to add them. And then you name your objective that you want to add, which I named it health. And then you tell it what objective you want to look at, which is health. So this is the name that you're giving it, and this is what it's looking at, basically. There's other objectives you can use, and you can get on Minecraft Wiki and look at that. So basically that's the first command you want to use. The second command you want to use to get it to display when you hit tab, like so, is scoreboard objectives set display list health, and then it's exactly what it sounds like. You want to look at the scoreboard objectives, you want to set the display. How do you want to display it? You want to list when you hit tab, and then the name of the objective that you want to list when you hit tab. So that basically works like that. And then in order to get it to update properly, what I do is I put everybody in survival mode, and then at the same time I also set the difficulty to 0 just in case there's a creeper around or something. You want to remove it before it destroys all your redstone, which, like I said, you could, I don't know if I said it, but you could actually take all this and put it up in the sky in bedrock or something if you so choose. Anyways, because that'll actually, we can set that back to hard when we press that button over there. But anyways, so we want to put everybody in survival and peaceful mode. This effect right here will actually damage the player, and that'll cause the scoreboard to update for the first time. So affect all players with instant damage, and that'll cause it to update. And then you want to affect all players with instant healing for 30 seconds with a multiplier of 5 or a effect level of 5. The 30 seconds doesn't matter because effect ID number 6 is instant health. And you can only get instant health at once. The same with instant damage. So then that'll heal everybody back to the proper place. And then I just went ahead and put everybody back in creative mode. So when we, as you can see, I'll hold tab when I do this, but when we hit the scoreboard, you can see now it's actually updated to the proper health level. In vanilla Minecraft, it's not like the actual Minecraft UHC. It shows the actual health points you have. It's not showing the hearts you have, meaning half a heart is 1 health point. So if you have 5.5 hearts, it'll display 11. If you have 10 hearts, like I do now, it'll display 20. If you have 7.5 hearts, it'll display 15. If you have 7 hearts, it'll display 14. And so that's basically the way that works. And so we got our random teams selected. We created our teams. We set up our scoreboard so we can hit tab and see where everybody is on their health. And so now let's go ahead and start the UHC game. And the way I like to do that, you can actually have this set up from the get-go. I just wanted to make sure everybody saw the command blocks being used. You can actually do a game rule command block output false, which means it won't show all when the command block won't output text or messages when it does something. So if we do that, the rest of these blocks will be silent, and then the game will just basically get started. Game rule natural regeneration false, which means you won't recover health. The only way you can recover health is with health potions or golden apples. So then it'll move on over here. Game rule do daylight cycle false. For those of you watching UHC 11 right now, UHC season 11, they have infinite daylight, which we can now replicate in vanilla Minecraft. So basically, when you do daylight cycle to false, it'll freeze the sun wherever it is in the sky. So then the next thing I do is I put time set 1200, which is right there. So now it'll stay 1200 basically until you either change the time or allow the daylight cycle to continue. I take away 1,000 levels of XP from everybody. XP minus 1,000 levels from all players. Just that way nobody is ready to do enchantments right off the bat. The next thing that happens is I put everybody in peaceful difficulty so that all the mobs are killed throughout the world. Then I put everybody back in hard difficulty. Which actually do something like that for these two, so that everybody is back in hard difficulty. Then we want to move the spawn point of all players to 2156 -1. So after they die, they're going to end up back in that initial pen that they all started out in to create the teams. So then that moves on to over here, which you want to move game mode 0 for all players, which basically means everybody's going to be in survival mode. Weather clear 180, which I just want that weather to be clear for at least 3 minutes before everybody gets started. That way nobody has to run into some horrible creepers right off the bat. You want to clear all players' inventories. When you move over here, you want to spread the players from X0, Z0. You want to spread them at least 400 blocks away from each other players. No more than 1,000 blocks away from 0, 0. Respect teams true, which means all the teams will be teleported together to the same areas, and you want to affect all players. At least in my variant, if you go to the Minecraft wiki, you can see how to affect some players and not some players if you want spectators or something like that. And then the very last thing it does is it tells all the players, welcome to UHC. So when we press the button, all that'll happen. So let's go ahead and watch real quick. So as you can see, we were welcome to UHC. We no longer have any items in our inventory. Natural regeneration has been set to false. So if we were to take any damage, we would not be able to regenerate it. And basically now you'd just get started. You'd get started punching your trees and then going on the hunt for other players, basically, or whatever objective you have in mind. Slaying the Ender Dragon, slaying a Wither, you know, what have you. So I can just show you real quick that that the health has not been, it will not regenerate. As you can see, I just took some fall damage and the health is not regenerating. And that's basically how you set up UHC in vanilla Minecraft. So now, as you can see, you know, that's really all you have to do. It's not very complicated at all. The random player team selector came out much simpler than I ever hoped once I actually got the idea to use hoppers with it. And that's about it. If you guys have any questions or anything, be sure to leave them in the comments. If you want to learn more about command blocks and how many cool things you can do with them, check out the Minecraft wiki and be sure to check out other people's videos. They go into some cool details in that. There's a lot more you can do with the scoreboard system. You can test for players with a certain amount of health or a certain amount of kills and stuff like that. And as you can see, my health actually updated to 18. So I hope to see you guys again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave it a like. Bye bye everybody.